All right, guys, we're doing a quick interview with Adam Rav. If you guys don't know him, the beast with Amazon does $100,000 a day on average. I think he did like a million on Black Friday. So we're going to ask him a couple questions that you guys had from the Amazon group. Hopefully, you can share some of his insight. So, Adam, just thank you again for taking the time out of your day to do this with me. So, if you want to start, maybe you want to give us a little background about your story and how you came up, become so successful selling on Amazon.
Yeah, no. So my background, when I was growing up, when everyone else was playing computer games, I was kind of trying to figure out how to make money on the internet. I was doing the, pay-per-click, running websites, and doing all sorts of ways, online marketing. So I had that kind of a background since I was about 12 years old. I've been doing that. And then went to college, went to law school, put all that away. I think there was a point in law school I didn't touch anything on a computer except a word processor, and so I went to a law firm in New York. I did capital markets and M&A on Wall Street for 2 years. And during that time is when I basically learned, kind of how things work, and that really you need financial freedom, because I was basically working like, 12, 14, 16 hours a day, very few weekends. And it wasn't like, the bankers or the entrepreneurs that I was working with, like they were any smarter or harder working than me, but they were definitely earning a lot larger of a reward than I was for kind of similar amount of time and effort. So I thought to myself, I either need to go back to school and become a banker, or I need to go and try entrepreneurship. So I started getting my resume together and references to apply to different business schools to get into that. At the same time, I thought, let me try my hand at business. Let's see what happens. And during that time, I'm running the subway every day to work in Manhattan, and I one day it's really cramped, and it's like a really, I'm from Texas, and so that wasn't really great for me, that feeling. And I saw this lady. She looked very well dressed, probably like mid-30s. At that time, I was in my early to mid-20s, and she's reading this book that's the 4-hour work week, and it's a guy sitting there with on the beach, and I'm like, wow, that would be nice. Like, what's that book? And I picked up that book and I read it, and literally by the time I got halfway through it, I just dropped it and started doing what it was saying, because I kind of got the picture. And the picture was, you can outsource everything. Every single thing you see around you can be created through outsourcing. And there's someone somewhere out there who is an expert, who you can pay a certain dollar amount and they can achieve what you envision. And that concept in itself, and reading that book, it kind of showed you how to do that from an e-commerce perspective, using tools like Elance, which is now today called Upwork, and there's various other outsourcing platforms. So that was kind of the background. So I used that idea and that knowledge, and I was back then, that was the time when Amazon was kind of just starting out for third-party sellers, and really I started on eBay and my own website at that time. And my strategy was essentially, back then I used Google Trends. That was the main tool that I used. So I used Google Trends to kind of identify different trends. And at that time, I launched probably about 7 or so or more different random products just to see what would happen. And my strategy was essentially to find new and upcoming Chinese brands that people were selling on eBay, and we're shipping from Hong Kong and China to the United States, but nobody in the United States was stocking that brand. But that I could look at eBay completed items and eBay sold items, and I could see, well, hey, there's 4 guys from Hong Kong, each are selling 30 units a day. If I were able to be the US distributor and have a better listing and give US support and all of that, I could maybe take half that market. I could sell 50 units a day. So based on that, I'd take my salary and I'd buy, 2 or 3 weeks worth of supply and then flip it on eBay and the website. And the particular technique that I did, what set me apart from everyone is, just say the company was, xyzchina.com, XYZ China company, and they had the website xyzchina.com. I would go and register xyzchina.us. And then I would send them a super nice email saying, I would like to be their US distributor. I will represent them. Very well-formed professional email. And most of the time they would give me permission, because I only targeted companies who didn't already have a US distributor. That was my niche. That was my strategy. And so I did about 6 or 7 of these deals, and one of them took off like a rocket ship. And the other ones, I basically either just stopped working on them or sold. I sold one of them because it was kind of okay. And the others, I just stopped working on them, and I focused on that one, and the rest is history. Like within 2 or 3 months, I was earning double my salary of the Wall Street law firm. But I still continued with the business, with the law firm job for several months after that, because I had worked my whole life. I'd studied and, worked really hard in school to get this really amazing job. And I wasn't going to throw it all away just for some business I created 2 months ago. Like that could disappear. Who knows?
Yeah.
But also during that time, I got married, and, it was becoming a stress on my relationship, because I'd come home from the office from doing, law work at, 9, 10, 11 p.m. And then I'd work till 2, 3 a.m., 4 a.m. sometimes on this business. So basically it wasn't sustainable. Like I had to choose. And eventually it didn't make sense, but I had to choose a business, because I'd wake up in the morning and I'd tell my wife, we've already made more money since the time I woke up than if I even went to the office today. Like we've already made that much money by 8 a.m. than even going to the office. So, at that point we're like, okay, it doesn't make sense. Just put in your resignation and let's get back to Texas, and let's, make it happen. And that's how I started. That was even before Amazon. We got into Amazon after that.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Now, the one you said that really took off, this is going to be Amcrest, like your main.
Well, back then it was a security camera company in China. It wasn't Amcrest. Amcrest is my own brand. So the evolution of an e-commerce seller is, first you start selling random crap you find from Walmart. And I did that in high school and stuff like that. And then you move on to distributing and reselling other brands, where you are a legitimate distributor of another brand, right? And that's the second level. Like you can make lots of money doing that. Companies do that all the time. And then the level above that is where you develop your own products under your own brand. Either you design an ODM, original design of your own product, or you find a factory that's already producing a product and you work with them to customize it, maybe the packaging and the user manual and the software. And then, you resell their product under your own brand. And in that case, that's basically the third level. And that's where I'm at now. So I do my own original design products for the industries which I'm very deep in. And then for other industries, I'm doing, I'm taking the factory's existing products and tweaking them a little bit and selling them under my own brand. So that's kind of, where we're at today.
So we're talking like the watches, the Contour athletic wear, the cameras, everything. These are all now your own brands.
Correct. Yeah. So right now I'm running about 10 brands right now. And so, my strategy is I have different brands ready in different industries. And so I use data and analytics, and we talk about this before, using viral launch and import key to, basically using data to identify opportunities. And then whatever that opportunity is, like an opportunity, it's like a stock chart, like it'll be a perfect setup, It's setting up. This product is setting up according to the data. Then I'll say, okay, this product is setting up. Which one of my 10 brands does this make the most sense? So then I'll slot it in that one there, and then we'll launch, So basically lying in wait for the perfect product setups to come out.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. I mean, so now let's switch gears a little bit. And again, especially for the new seller, they have, it's like a blank ocean. They don't know what to do. What were some of the early mistakes that you made that a new seller trying to do this can kind of avoid?
I think the number one mistake that I think I made is in the beginning was trying to sell what I wanted to sell rather than what I knew customers wanted to buy. So I would go a lot based on gut feeling. I would use Google Trends, to kind of identify the trend what looked good. But a lot of it was just, I really think that this is a great opportunity and I'm going to go for it. And that gave me about a 30% success rate in the beginning. Now I wait for my gut feeling to align with the data, for the data to show me that this is correct. And then if my gut feeling is also in line, I will strike. And now I have a 70 or 80% strike. Like basically I don't get in unless I know I can win. I want to shoot fish in the barrel. I don't want to take chances. So that's basically the biggest mistake is not using the correct data. And if you don't know what that means you don't know what you're doing. You need to get, educated before you jump into it.
Okay. Now, when you talk about, you're trying to shoot fish in a barrel, when we talk about, let's call it like $100 product. If you're selling your own private label, item on Amazon for $100, it's going to be Amazon FBA. What are you going to take home after Amazon's take?
Well, Amazon has different categories, and different categories have different percentages. Like, cameras or direct larger electronic items will be like 8%, which is very good. And then, other categories will be higher, like 15% for health and personal care. So, that's just the Amazon selling fees. And there's also FBA fees and all of that. So I would say that if you're in an 8% category, after all fees are said and done, it's about a 20%. So if I sold something for $100 in, a major electronics product, I'd get back $80. And from there, I'd have to pay for the product cost and all my marketing and employees and all that rent and everything from there. But for health and personal care, after FBA fees and shipping and Amazon fees, you probably pay about 30% total, so you get back about 70%. So if you sold, like $100 mattress topper or something, you'd get back like $70 from Amazon, and then you got to worry about your product costs and stuff.
So, and again, for me, just talking with a lot of newer guys trying to get on Amazon, I feel like a lot of their initial thought is, I need to buy a ton of inventory. I need to like drop 10 grand or 20 grand to have a bunch of to sell. When you think that's the case, or would you say, start a little bit smaller and see if something sells first?
So when I started, I can only speak to my experience, right? So when I started, I had a salary, a good job, and I was able to live very frugally. I saved more than half my salary, and every week, I was putting my salary into buying new product opportunities. So my first opportunity that was very successful, the first order was $7,000. I bought $7,000 worth of cameras and sold them in 2 weeks. And I think I ended with $12,000 when I was done with it. And then I bought more cameras. So, I mean, I don't think you could start with a few $100s. You're going to need a few thousand. I'd say at least $5,000. Like, if you don't have $5,000, I know when you're trading, you need a $20,000 account for the, to the pattern day trader. Here, I would say if you have less than 5,000, it's going to be tough, really, because on top of that, there's also marketing fees, Amazon marketing fees. So honestly, I would say you would need at least 10,000 just to be safe, really. I wouldn't recommend it with less than 10,000. I did it with 7,000. But it was more like a long-term plan. Like if that first 7,000 didn't work, and I had things that I tried before that for like 1,000 and 2,000 and 3,000 here and there that did and didn't work, Mm-hmm. But I kind of believed in the process, and I could see the things that didn't work. I kind of learned from. I was like, okay, I know why that didn't work. I'm not going to do that again. And I would never take an opportunity you can't afford to lose, right? So I knew that every month my salary came in, I was going to risk this much, and eventually it was going to take off. And so it's kind of like in trading, there's a certain amount you can afford to risk and lose, and be willing and ready that you might lose that.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned before, like you had some where you spent a couple thousand, it didn't work, and we were talking about, say the $100 item, you're going to, pretty much get back about $70 after all the fees. When we're talking about spending, say, this $7,000, is there a certain price point where it's like, okay, I'm going to get $70 back. I need to be getting these for at least $30. And if it's more, it's not worth my time. Or is there a certain like markup that you need?
Yeah, correct. So basically, if I get an item for $50, I want to be listing it for like $120. Okay. It's really kind of like a little bit more than double to pad it a little bit. And because, you're also going to want to run discounts. You're going to want to give coupons. Double is the minimum. So if you got it for 50, you list it for 100. That's like the minimum. Okay. I usually try to go to 120 just to give room for coupons. And you never know, because the way Amazon's algorithm works is if you lower the price, you get boosted. So if you list it at 100 and you leave it at 100, that's fine. But if you list it at 120 and then you lowered it $5 this week and next week. Every time you lowered it, you get additional boost from Amazon.
Now, are you saying this is your own listing? Like it's you listed it at 119 and it says like it's on sale for now like 114, or you're saying if say someone jumped on a listing, like you jumped in front of somebody and then lowered
no one should ever be jumping on your listing because you're selling your own brand, right? No one can jump on your listing. That's if you're playing the game where you're selling other people's products, right? Everybody's in a different position. But my recommendation is to not do that. And if you can, don't even start there, because the thing is that game used to be very good a while ago. Now it's not. Most manufacturers are aware of Amazon now. Most brand names are aware of Amazon. They want to sell on Amazon themselves. Like, it's no secret. 10 years ago, Amazon, like maybe some people weren't like, do they sell books or something? But now everybody knows. So if you start selling someone else's product on Amazon and you're very successful, they will come and try to take that over from you. Inevitably, maybe not now, maybe not next year, but eventually they will, because it's their brand. So my recommendation is from the beginning, sell your own brand. Even if it means that you buy the products with no logo and you put your own packaging on it. You just have unique branded packaging and your own unique user manual with your logo. It's very important to protect your brand. This is very important. It's not about a product. You don't want to be launching products. You want to be launching brands. You want to launch a number of products within a particular brand. And it is the brand that goes on. Every year or two, or sometimes every 3 years, or plus or minus, totally new products will come out in an industry, but the brand stays the same. Like my cameras we went from like 640 by 480 to 720 to 1080 to, on and on now to 8 megapixel, 4K, 12 megapixel. So, products come and go, but the brand is what sticks around. So you need to be building brands long term. That's the key.
Gotcha. So when we're talking about like creating a listing or creating your own, item you're going to sell yourself, what are some requirements that the seller is going to need to create that listing? Like a UPC code, they need to have like an ISBN. Is there certain like requirements that are needed for making this listing?
Yeah, so there's the correct professional way to do it, which takes a little bit more time and effort and money, but not much. And then there's the very quick and easy. The quick and easy way is you can buy generic UPC codes. You can just go to Google and type in buy UPC and just use any generic UPC if you just want to get quick and dirty and done. If you want to do it the correct way, you go to GS1. So you just, you can look up Google GS1, and that's the official database where you register your company and you get a unique, prefix in your UPCs, and that is associated with you as a company. If you plan to get into like major retailers like Home Depot or Sam's Club or something, they will require that. They won't take the cheap generic ones. Amazon will take the cheap generic UPCs, but it does cost it's initially like a couple $100s to get with GS1, I think. It depends on how many products you have. If you have less products, it might be less. But the generic ones are cheap. They're just a few dollars each. But you do need a UPC. I recommend definitely having a UPC. Amazon has a way that you don't need a UPC. You can use an Amazon unique identifier, which I don't use that, but some people, I've heard of people using that.
Okay. So we're saying definitely you have to like the better version of the UPC code through that GS1 you just mentioned. Now, is there any other things you would say are like imperative or like must-dos when you're creating your own listing?
I could probably give like an hour-long course on what the perfect listing, but really your listing needs to be well-researched in terms of keywords. So you need to identify your top, your number one best keyword and your top 2 or 3 best keywords, and incorporate them into the title. The title is very important. You look at your competitors, you do your keyword analysis, you look at your best competitors, the best keywords. You try to, use your own, ingenuity to put together your own unique, amazing, best title. Then you go on to the bullet points. You need the best bullet points. Again, same thing. And then pictures. You need to have really the best pictures. So it's kind of like you need the stars to align in all ways. So you got the title, the bullet points, the pictures, the description. There's also the A+, which is like marketing content. That's where you take different pictures and arrange them with text, copy, and a format. Those are the main things about the listing. So I know your keywords, get your title and your bullets. Of the three things you're going to do, if you're going to, there's so many things to do, like videos, and there's millions of things to do for listing. But the three most important things are title, keywords are the first most important, because your title and your bullets are based on your keywords. So those are the three most important. And then your images. Try to have at least 6 images and a video for every listing, and hire somebody to make your images look better. It's worth it. Trust me. If you source the best quality product, like if you've gone and used the correct, data and platforms and identified the correct keywords that are a good opportunity, and you find the best manufacturer and supplier, you negotiate the best price, you got the best quality, the best price, the best keyword opportunity, then it comes down to your listing. You need to have the best title, the best bullets, the best pictures, the best video. It's really like, major league sports in a way. You've got to be at the highest level on everything that you're doing. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult. Mm-hmm. But if you do it correctly, and the thing is, if you know that in advance, you know whether or not you're going to win or lose. Like, if I get the products back from the factory and I'm comparing it to the competitor, I'm like, well, this is not as good and I can't get it at the same price or better, I won't even do it. I'll be like, well, I can't win. I need to be the best. If I can't be the best, then I don't even want to be there. I want to shoot fish in the barrel. I don't want to struggle. I don't want to fight. I just want to know, is this opportunity coming to me or not? And I can see that based on, whether I'm able to put the entire package together before pulling the trigger.
Mm-hmm. Now, circling back with one of the bullet points, you're talking about titling the listing. And I've seen this with a couple other sellers. Well, they'll lead with their brand name. Now, is that something you recommend, or you rather focus on the product title and then?
I always lead with my brand name, because I'm playing a long-term game. I want my brand name to be the most searched thing. I have, some categories where my brand is searched more than the keyword.
Okay.
And that's what I want. So I'll always lead with my brand. I'm playing for the long-term brand play.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, you've been mentioning in the chat a little bit about your site import key. You want to kind of break down what that service is and how it benefits Amazon sellers?
Yeah. So essentially, Amazon is broken down. It's a various aspects, right? You got the product sourcing part of it, you got the listing and marketing part of it, you got the logistics part of it, and then you got the reverse logistics customer support part of it, right? So there's 5 key areas which you have to have, operational expertise in. Import key relates to the first part of it, which is sourcing. So I'll go through them. So keywords and finding opportunity. So finding opportunity, you find opportunity on Viral Launch, right? So you use Viral Launch, there's various trainings on that, and Viral Launch will help you to identify low competition opportunities. That's what you want. You want to find keywords, which are essentially niches, like 3-phrase words, which have a decent amount of revenue and low competition. What does low competition mean? Low competition means low review count. So you want to find keywords where the average listing has a high revenue and a low review count. So if you can find something that the average listing is selling like, $15,000 to $50,000 a month, and the average listing has only 100 or 200 reviews, that's a good opportunity, because you only have to get 100 or 200 reviews to get that revenue. Whereas if a keyword phrase has 5,000 reviews, if the best guys have 5,000 reviews, then it's going to too much effort. It's not worth it. And usually the things that have new opportunities, the things which are good opportunities, are really new technologies. Like, a new fabric was created, a new type of cool fit fabric just came out. So everybody is launching new shirts with this. So everyone has low reviews, So you're kind of trying to wait for different industries to have something new. Something new comes out. And now all of a sudden, new players have an opportunity to enter. So you'll see things like that's what you want to be on the lookout for. So it could be an old industry where there's big giant players, but a new type of item has come out. So you'll find that in Viral Launch. Now, once you find that, now you have to source it. So where do you source it from? So, traditionally you can source it from Alibaba, which is very good, and I highly recommend it. But, Alibaba doesn't always have all the suppliers, and sometimes you don't know some of the suppliers, which are quite legit. They'll be on Alibaba, but their account will be small on Alibaba. They won't have a big account on Alibaba. So it's not the full picture. So what I used to use for the past 10 years is a site called Panjiva, and a competitor for that is Import Genius. And basically, what these tools do is every shipment that comes into the United States is public records, public information. So you can find out who is supplying to Nike and Adidas and Milwaukee Tools. All this information is public record. And there's different software services out there like Panjiva and Import Genius, and also the service that I just launched called Import Key, which basically give you access to this data. And so, using Panjiva costs I think the minimum plan was like $300 a month. But the way I was using it, I was spending like thousands of dollars on it. So what I ended up doing is basically, creating the service for myself and launching it under Import Key. So I use that service. I've done millions of dollars of shipments through the data obtained through that service, and I'm offering that service now, to your users, basically a free trial, to check it out, and let me know, if any feedback or suggestions they have on it. Yeah.
That's awesome. So now, for anyone else that's watching this, if they do want to use Import Key, it's just importkey.com and.
Correct. Yeah. So just importkey.com, and then right now we're having a free trial, a free 1-month trial. But through Trading Experts, I'm offering a 6-month trial actually. And so you guys can check it out, importkey.com. That's right.
And now for feedback, is there a certain email you want them to send the feedback to? Send it to you personally? What's the best route to get the feedback from?
Yeah, the best route would be to give me feedback through email. So there's a contact form on importkey.com where you can say, where you can basically submit that to us. And then through the Trading Experts platform, I'm in contact. Those guys know how to reach out to me. And so, we're in touch.
Perfect. All right. And I'll also make sure that in the description of this video, I'll include all the links that you discussed of, the emails, to keep it as simple as possible so everyone isn't asking those kind of redundant questions. So I think with that, we wrap this one up. We're definitely going to have a bunch more questions, from the guys as time goes on. So maybe we'll do this again, pretty soon when you have some free time.
Sounds good.
All right, Adam, I got to thank you again for taking the time out of your day. Everyone else, have a good day and a good weekend.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.